Wetlands, stuff like that. And that's the other way you get your stuff really big, is the way I usually secure my OTK is I would clear their field, either using flip-flops effect with a heavy storm or a giant Trunade. So pretty much flip-flop, you send monsters on their side of the field equal to the number of frogs you control back to their hand. So set this, keep it safe for a turn, and then boom. If you have 5 frogs on the field, goodbye to their monsters. And then a Trunade or a Heavy Storm should fix their backfield, but I recommend Trunade with all the Starlight Roads and stuff being set. So yeah, after all that is set, what I personally like to do, Pot of Avarice your important targets back in the grave, like your Unifrogs and your Swap Frogs, your heavy hitters. Also swap, like your Submarine Swaps and Unis are your heavy hitters for this deck. So pretty much, if you were to drop Solidarity and Wetlands, all your frogs get a 2,000 attack point boost, which to me is just ridiculous. Like, it's just that's just a lot for small little things like this. Now, once you get all that going, I personally like to sack off every creature for at least 2 of these and 2 of either of these, including these 2. Sack these 2 if you have to. Make this guy, and even himself. Substitoad can sack himself. So you sack it, make another Submarine or another Unifrog with 3 Solidarities and a Wetlands on the field. That's 3 monsters attacking for game, unless they battle fade. Then, even if they battle fade, attack directly, Unifrog, and stuff like that. Well, not really, but you know what I mean. If they were to special summon a Gorge or something, you still have your Unifrogs to get around it. And if all else fails, then, stall out. Hold out with either a Roar or Aegis or Froggy Force Field until you can secure that OTK for next turn. Now, that is just my preference on things. This deck is ridiculously complicated. Now, just remember, you have to play this out. You have to understand how the deck works. You have to practice this deck over and over and over and over again until you are tired of seeing frogs, and until then you still play it over and over and over again. Because honestly, I've ran this deck for about 2 years now, and I still misplay a lot on some things, but somehow make a huge comeback and get it back. This deck, to be honest, it's a fun deck, but it has very, very competitive, it has a lot of competitive potential. I took this up to a regionals once, and I placed 50th. So that's pretty freaking good for a random-ass deck like this, so, yeah. But also, one last thing, one really, really, really quick combo that just helps all this happen, all this magic, would be to set a Scapegoat your opponent's turn. Just set it, bam. And, if they don't do anything on their end phase, Scapegoat. You have 4 tokens. Normal summon your Substitoad, bam. Full field of frogs, right there. And yes, you can sack your goat, you can sack goats. My personal thing that I love doing would be brain controlling their monsters and sacking them, because Substitoad says any creature. So, yeah, nothing better than that. So, I hope you all enjoyed this brief but hopefully knowledgeable tutorial on my frog deck. It seems relatively simple, but trust me, it is not. This deck is 5,000% complicated, but 100,000,000% entertaining. This deck is one of the funnest decks I've ever ran. And even though I annoyed the hell out of my opponents playing with this deck, they had a lot of fun running it. I've sold several copies of this deck already, so if you guys do want a deck list, just PM me. And if I think of new stuff, I might upload new tutorials. So, yep, this is God Mode Duelist, heading out.